So I wanted to make a couple of brief comments on the Affordable Care Act because it's neither affordable nor caring. Before the Affordable Care Act, I actually paid nothing every month for health insurance. That's because I'm alone and I don't have any dependents. And I think for a lot of people, the lion's share of costs is for the dependents that are covered. And my employer, the state, offered financial incentives to reduce your monthly obligation if you met certain benchmarks. So some of these were like getting regular checkups so I would have an annual physical, blood work, get my teeth cleaned, my eyes checked, and exercise. In fact, my very first Fitbit was given to me by the state, and because I was able to track that I wasn't sitting around eating bonbons and watching soap operas all day and actually getting 20 to 25,000 steps a day, they actually had to eat their hat. And so for many years, I didn't pay a thing for healthcare because the incentives were so much. They actually pushed my monthly premium to zero, actually below zero, but they didn't give me money back. The lowest you could get was zero. It was wonderful. And then the Affordable Care Act came, and all of those incentives went away. All of them. They dried up overnight. Suddenly there was no way to reduce it whatsoever. And so what I saw was actually essentially an infinity percentage increase in my monthly premiums. And it's not that high. That's not the point. The point is that when the Affordable Care Act came out, my cost went from zero to a monthly sum because there was no incentive for me to, there were no incentives available to reduce it. So President Obama promised that the average family would see a decrease in their premiums of about $2,500. Mine went up by hundreds of dollars because I wasn't paying anything. I don't know what the actual rates are. I can only talk about my own. But I can tell you that since the Affordable Care Act, my premiums have also now doubled since then. So I've now seen a 100% increase under Joe Biden of my healthcare premiums because it didn't start until quarantine. Before quarantine, mine were about half of what they are today, just a little bit less than half. So it has neither made it has not made it more affordable for me. It didn't make it more caring for me. In fact, 2 years ago they actually changed providers, and so the doctor I had been seeing is no longer covered. So I haven't been to a doctor for 2 years because there's no incentive financially, and because the doctor who knows me and has seen me for let's see, 11 of the last 14 years is no longer covered by my insurance. So if you like your doctor, you can keep it. Bolshevik. It will be more affordable than before. Bolshevik. Now, if that's true for you, then that's great. But they talk about this as if it's true for everyone, and it's not. And so the Affordable Care Act is probably the worst thing that happened to my healthcare premiums in my entire life. So those are my thoughts. That's my experience. You may have yours, but I wanted you to know what mine are. Oh, and then there's this other little tidbit. They're now talking, I don't have the HMO. They're talking about taking away the HMO option. And I have a lot of coworkers who have dependents who draw heavily on the HMO who have no idea what they're going to do because that shifts when you take the HMO away, it shifts the obligation onto the individual that's covered, which I don't mind because I only go to the doctor to when they tell me I have to now, or I used to go to get a financial incentive and a reduction every month. Because I'll pay $100 a year to see a doctor to have my premiums reduced by $50 a month. Sure, that's a great deal for me. So, but they don't have any incentives, and they're not going to be able to cover it, and they're going to have to pay more out of pocket. So we'll see how that goes over. The Affordable Care Act did not make it more affordable or make it more caring for most people. Prove me wrong. Godspeed. Good luck.